So then guys, day of locals is here. I think we're both feeling a bit worse for wear. I know Carb Lord was out on the boozer last night. I yesterday went a very, very long way to see my football team lose. So yeah, it was a very, very long day for me yesterday. So I'm feeling tired, but you know what? We'll give it a go anyway. Really looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing what Carb Lord has come up with. Yeah, let's get started. But first, we've got to choose a playmat, and that's always the tricky part. So we have our deck box and deck, of course, but we have got to choose a playmat. I really like that World Championship qualifier. I really like my IP one. These are what I consider my favourite ones. I've got a few more, but these ones are definitely my favourites. Shining Victories, Spellcasters, that one. I mean, it's got to be Odd Eyes, right? I mean, I am playing Odd Eyes after all, so why not get out the Odd Eyes playmat? So I'll pack this up and let's get going.
What is going on, guys? It's your boy Kyberlord, and welcome to episode 1 of Dueling with Dragons. Now, if you haven't been keeping up with my Instagram page, this is a series where myself and Hardcore Cards will be trying to top locals with our favorite dragons. Me, obviously, being Blue Ice White Dragon, and Hardcore Cards being Odd Ice Pendulum Dragon. Now, we've already had our first locals where I've used Blue Ice and Hardcore Cards has used Odd Ice. And let me tell you, it was really interesting. No one was expecting me to play Blue Ice. And I mean, you do see some pendulum builds, so Odd Ice wasn't much of a surprise. I want to say I did okay with it. My first matchup was against Adamancipator Prank Kids, and I managed to win the game surprisingly 2-0. It was just straight control and then just an OTK. Round 2 was against Ad Ignister, and I didn't do too bad. I went 2-1. Game 1, I think I bricked. I mean, it is Blue Ice. I bricked a bit, so I just scooped, went to game 2, managed to win it, and I did lose it in game 3, but it was a very close matchup, so I don't feel like bad for losing that, because it was very close. Game 3 was against Dinos, and surprisingly, I could not do anything against Dinos, which was a bit worrying. So I did lose that round 2-0. And the last round was against Beat Trooper, which honestly, it is a very promising archetype. I went 2-1. Game 3, I made a huge mistake. I sided out Blue Ice Alternative Dragon because I honestly didn't know what to side against them, so I'm like, I didn't know what to side out. So I took out the alternative, and I basically opened my hand, and the Blue Ice alternative was the only thing stopping me from going like on my full combo and managing to OTK in that game 3. So huge mistake on my part, but again, it was a very close matchup, so I don't feel bad. It is Blue Ice. I am going to do some changes. I do explain them in the deck profile, and I explain a few combos and how like I used every card. Hardcore Cards' deck profile is also in this video, so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be trying to do like a little block kind of thing, and then showing you our deck profiles and saying what we're going to switch out, switch in, and stuff like that. So we hope you guys enjoy it. Obviously, as this series progresses, this is episode 1. As it progresses, it will get better. We will show more footage of locals, of us traveling there and stuff like that. But for now, this is what we've got for you guys, and we hope you guys really enjoy it. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let us know down in the comment section down below what you guys think of the decks, of the series, and give us some tips. How can I make Blue Ice even more competitive? How can Hardcore Cards make Odd Ice even more competitive? So enjoy, guys, and let's get started.
So this is the deck list which I will be taking to locals for our very first episode. I should imagine this will be the first of many lists. I can imagine this list is going to change tremendously, probably even just the next episode. There's lots of things which I can consider putting in. I'm not going to run over card by card because that would take ages. However, if you really wanted to see if the full deck list, my side deck and everything like that, I will have the picture image of my deck profile up on the Hardcore Cards Instagram page. So make sure if you want to see it, you check that out. Yeah, not much to say about the list. It's pretty much a standard go-to list. Unfortunately, 1 Joker at the minute because 2 isn't legal until 1st of October, which as time of recording this isn't until like another week's time, might even be week and a half. So yeah, so still only the 1 Joker, but 2 Jokers will make a massive difference, and I'm really looking forward to it. Trying out Dow's Infusion with Verte Anaconda. So Dow's Infusion actually lets you fuse using pendulum monsters which are in the grave, and because we use stuff like Odd Eyes, which ditched itself to grave, and as well as like the XCs, which obviously once you detach them, say like you link away your Absolute Dragon, for example, you'll have them materials in the grave, so which is then fuels it up nicely for Dowsing Fusion to actually get out Vortex Dragon, which is quite a nice little thing I'm trying out. I don't know how well it's going to go. Like I said, this list is probably going to chop and change. There's loads of things which I'm already considering. Stuff like Pendulum Transfer, a brand new spell card, which is like a little bit of Electromite in a spell card. Even, I mean, if I want to try and be as competitive as possible, I may even have to consider the Dragoon package. It's definitely an option. I mean, Red Eyes is a level 7 dragon at the end of the day, so yeah, that is definitely something I'm going to consider, as well as stuff like Summoner's Art, which can search out the Arc Pendulum Dragon there. So yeah, definitely things to consider. As for the extra deck, which isn't pictured on screen, I mean, we've got double Vortex. So double Vortex, one in case we go for Dowsing Fusion play, and then the other one is if we don't go into Absolute, we've then got another Vortex in our extra deck. Not sure if I like that or not, but we're going to try it out nonetheless. Speaking of Absolute, obviously Absolute's there. Then, of course, we've got Appaloosa, Verte, and that is for the Dowsing Fusion. Selene, IP and Access Code, and Underworld Goddess. Selene and IP and Access Code always pair nicely with the Magicians. So yeah, that's why they're in there. Same with Borreload Savage Dragon. Because we do play the Magicians, it's easy to get Savage Dragon out. New rank 7, which is actually quite a nice little tech for dragon-based decks. It's a quick effect on field if that's got a dragon as material, which is quite nice, really. So quick effect pop. So yeah, trying it out, see how it goes. Big Eye, nice generic rank 7 there. Clearwing, again, pairs nicely with Magicians as well as Dark Ruler, which is in the side. Dweller, obviously Dweller is Dweller, and of course Odd Eyes Meteor Burst, which you might be wondering, how do I make Meteor Burst? Is if you go to the Verte line and you go to Absolute Dragon, what you can do when you link away Absolute Dragon, you can summon this out, which will then get its effect to special summon, say, Odd Eyes Arc from your scale. So then you've got 2 level 7s to then go into the new one. Or, of course, Big Eye. So, yeah, that is that. But, yeah, like I said, I'm not going to go on card by card because this episode is, I should imagine, going to be quite a long one. So, yeah, we'll wait and see what Card Lord has in store for us as well, and see how it goes for the first episode. So we will get to locals. So guys, just got back from locals today. It went okay. It went as well as I could imagine, to be honest, with Odd Eyes. We ended up 4th place, which isn't awful. We had 4 rounds today, which was quite nice. There was a lot of competitive decks there today, though. A lot of meta contenders. Yeah, it was a definitely competitive day. Round 1, we actually got the bye, which, I mean, it is a free win, but it does mess with your tiebreakers at the end, which is a bit of a shame. I'd rather have the draw, and even if I lose, I lose. Then round 2, we was against Virtual World, and game 1 was a weird one. He bricked. He won dice roll. Obviously chose to go first. He bricked. Pass turn to me. He drolled me. That pretty much stopped my plays in its track. I passed back to him. He has nothing. He passed back to me. He drolls me again. And at this point, I'm like, this is going to be one of them days today. But then next turn, he again just did not open anything. I have no idea what was in his hand. And luckily, he had no more drolls for me on the following turn. So I managed to just take it away. Game 2. He obviously opted to go first and opened well. He ended on your standard Virtual World plays. I drew for turn and I got drolled again. And at this point, I thought, yeah, I'm just going to scoop it up. I can't play through droll. This Odd Eyes hard loses the droll, unfortunately, really badly. So, yeah, just scooped it up and I thought, you know what, game 3. And luckily for me, game 3, I opened the absolute nuts. And went full combo, and fortunately he saw no sidecards, no drolls this time, and yeah, he couldn't play through it. So yeah, we took the win there. So it was 2-0 at this point. Going into round 3, was actually against Agnista. Again, I lost the dice roll. He went first, but he bricked. He had a hand full of hand traps. Pass turned to me with literally nothing on field. Because he had so many hand traps, I was able to put up a board, but it certainly wasn't optimal. That was for sure. But it did the job, and we managed to take the win. So we go to game two, but the game two, the trouble is I had no idea he was on Agnista. So game two, I had no idea what to side. So I thought, well, I was going to leave it as it is. Then obviously he starts through his plays, realising he's on Agnista. He goes full combo. It is what it is. And to be honest, I drew for turn, and I think I had a good chance of playing through that. Apart from his last card in hand wasn't Ash, and he knows Odd Eyes really well actually, and he ashed me at the perfect point, and that did affect my game three against him as well. Where again I went first, put up a not a great board. He ashed me on the perfect place as well, and annoyingly I only saw my Odd Eyes side of things in game three as well. So yeah, that was a real shame. I didn't see any of the magicians. So yeah, he then does the normal Agnista stuff, and yeah, just OTKs me. So that was a shame. We lost that one 2-1. So then going to round four, we was against Adamanzapayer, and again we lost the dice roll again. So we lost every dice roll today. I knew the guy was on Adamanzapayer. I knew he was on him, and I immediately thought I'm in trouble here because pendulums, we don't run hand traps. Well, not normally anyway. You don't naturally run hand traps. Hand traps are bricks and pendulums normally, but yeah. So Adamanzapayer, uninterrupted, they go off. They put up a pretty nutty board. My hand though was pretty stacked. I had a really good hand, and honestly, I actually felt like I could break that board. Apart from again, the last card in hand was an Ash Blossom, and yeah, that really stopped me, unfortunately. So go game two, and I sided in sphere modes, thinking, okay, if he breaks my board, if I've got a sphere mode in hand, that'll sort it out for the next turn. Unfortunately for me, I don't see side cards, and then I saw all my sphere modes in my opening hand, and I was like, great. I managed to put up an okay-ish board, but it wasn't good enough, unfortunately, and he went access code, climbed an access code, and then obviously OTK'd from there. So yeah, we ended 2-2, fourth place, which honestly isn't awful. Like, I'm quite happy with that. With Odd Eyes, we're definitely going to be making some changes to the list. We'll have 2 Jokers next time as well, which will be massive. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting going. So definitely stay tuned for the next episode where I'll share what changes I'll be making to the deck and what I'm hoping the deck can now do. But overall, it's a good start. Just got to stop getting drolled. But I'm sure Kyle Lord will tell you how his day went. So I won't say anything for that. So I'll leave up to him to say. But yeah, until the next episode, and I hope you enjoy it as well. We will see you again.
Alright, so before we get started with my deck profile, guys, I'm going to show you guys all the Blue Eyes stuff, all the Blue Eyes themed stuff I took to locals. Obviously, there is a lot of Blue Eyes White Dragon merch out there, so if I'm playing Blue Eyes, I might as well rep it. So for the 3 artworks of Blue Eyes, I mean, if you guys know me, I own pretty much every single artwork. But to start off, I decided to go for the 2 ghost rares. I mean, I do need a third, so I decided to just sub in the PCK promo. I mean, I might try and switch up the artworks every weekend. So these were my 3 first options. I mean, I had to open up strong with the ghosties, so those were the artworks I chose. For my extra deck, I did use some Blue Eyes White Dragon sleeves. They are double sleeved, obviously, with the KMC oversleeves, I believe they are. But shout out to my boy Jay. He gifted me these Blue Eyes White Dragon sleeves, and I'm definitely putting them to good use. Obviously, my token has to be the Kaiba Blue Eyes token, and my field center, obviously, I'm right there with the Ultimate Creature of Destruction. For the field center I chose, it was my OTS Blue Eyes White Dragon Field Center. I believe this was only available in the US. I did buy it from a US vendor, so Julian's cards. Shout out to him. Bought it ages ago, and I think it's the first time I've actually like taken it out of the binder since I've bought it. So yeah, I mean for the main deck I just used normal white sleeves. But for the dice, obviously we've got the Kaiba Corp dice from Legendary Duelist. We've got that's the alternative White Dragon, and we've got the Blue Eyes White Dragon. So those are official Konami dice, and of course we have to take my very own Kaiba Lord custom dice. Whoa, camera shaking. So the Blue Eyes White Dragon, which is in the artwork I'm playing, the tablet one, and the OG Blue Eyes White Dragon. So keep an eye out because I will probably make more Blue Eyes White Dragon dice, and I will be putting them up for sale. For the playmat, we obviously, if you've seen it already, we took the Twin Burst Dragon playmat, which was a regional one, and this was actually gifted to me by my friend Murrin. So shout out to Murrin, thank you very much. Again, putting it to very good use. And that's all the Blue Ice drip that I took to locals. So enjoy the deck profile, guys, and thank you very much. Alright then, let's get started with the main deck. Of course, we are playing the big bad boy, the legendary creature of destruction, which is 3 Blue Eyes White Dragon. Followed up by 2 copies of Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. I think 2 was the perfect ratio. You do see it. You can search it with Melody of Awakening Dragon. I mean, there was a silly duel where I sided 1 out, and I honestly, worst mistake I made because it cost me the matchup. So just 2 copies is fine. I've not played this in Blue Eyes in a really long time, but it just managed to do really well actually, which is the 1 Dragon Spirit of White. Now he is a level 8 and he is considered a Blue Eyes card, so he cannot be searched by Melody of Awakening Dragon because of the attack and defense, but you can use him as trade-in material. Then you can bring him back with either Monster Reborn or Return of the Dragon Lords, and then you can banish that 1 back row from your opponent's field. The 1 of Dragon as well, we're playing the 1 Chaos Dragon Levineer, really good in Blue Eyes White Dragon, as you're playing basically all lights, and I am playing 2 dark monsters in case you try and get them engraved, and you've obviously got the extra deck monsters who are also dark. So just the 1 Chaos Levineer. 2 isn't really necessary as it can become like yet another brick in Blue Eyes White Dragon. Also trade-in material, and you can definitely search him with Melody of Awakening Dragon. Another 1 of Dragon is the 1 Nebula Dragon. So basically you reveal him and 1 level 8 dragon monster from your hand, and you can special summon both. To be fair, I'm really thinking like cutting this off like from the deck, taking it out. I did not see it once throughout the whole tournament. Obviously I am playing just the 1 copy, but there wasn't really like a situation where I needed him. Like with this deck you can just like spam level 8s easily. He was always my first choice to side out. I did think of playing 2. I'm like, maybe 2 copies can be better, but honestly I don't really think it's needed. I think this is one of the cards I'm going to cut off. That's it for the dragons. Of course, I am playing Dangers in Blue Eyes. I have to. It's just the go-to for that extra consistency. If you've seen my past Blue Eyes builds, you see that I used to play like a bigger danger engine, but for this one I was testing just the 1 Bigfoot and just the 1 Thunderbird. Also really good for when you have them engraved if you've got that Chaos Levineer in your hand. I might make them like add more dangers to this build, as I'm thinking of cutting Nebula Dragon obviously. Obviously Nessie came back to 2, but I don't really like Nessie in Blue Eyes because it's a level 7, so maybe, I don't know, Synchro in the extra deck, then we can Nessie and then a stone into like a Synchro summon, but I just honestly don't like Nessie in Danger. For our stones, we're playing the 2 White Stone of Legend and the 2 White Stone of Ancient. So White Stone of Ancient, at the end of the turn you can special summon a Blue Eyes to your side of the field. And the second effect, which is the one I technically use the most, you can banish him and add a Blue Eyes card from your graveyard to your hand. So if you've got trade-in but you've got no dragons, banish him, bring back a Blue Eyes card. discard it with trade in, draw the 2. Obviously, the White Stone of Legend, we use him to search our Blue Eyes White Dragon. Really good as well, just normal summon him. Link him off into Linkuriboh, search that Blue Eyes, or discard him with Melody of Awakening Dragon, and then you get 3 searches. So 2/2. We're playing 3 Sage with Eyes of Blue. Honestly, the most OP card in this Blue Eyes White Dragon build. Helped me win so many matchups. The effect is just absolute nuts, which is you normal summon him and you get to summon, search a tuner. So you can either search the Effect Veiler, you can search the stones. It's just bonkers. Or you can discard him, tribute 1 monster you control, and special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon. And also, Spellcaster Tuner, easy to go into the access code package. So, absolute good card. Honestly, I mean, I'm not going to cut this down to 2. It was such a good card. Helped me win some matchups this past tournament. That's it for like the Blue Ice monster cards. We're going to move on to the hand traps. We're playing, of course, the 2 Effect Veiler. As I mentioned, you can search it off of Sage with Eyes of Blue. We're playing 2 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. And we are playing the 2 Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. Now, for the hand traps, these are the only hand traps I'm playing in the deck. Obviously, I'm playing Infinite Impermanence, but monster hand traps. I think this was the absolute perfect ratio. I saw them a lot. Managed to cut my opponent in some of their plays. I did play against Prankit's Adamantipator. And I mean, I managed to open Ash Blossom, Effect Veiler, Infinite Impermanence in my opening hand. So they went first. So I just absolutely just stopped them in their tracks. And turn 2, I went and then basically just OTK'd. It was, I think it's the perfect ratio. If I had to cut or add, I'd maybe add a 3rd Ash Blossom and maybe side deck Ghost Bell, but I think this is just the perfect ratio, and it did help out quite a lot against basically everything my opponents were playing. That is it for the monsters. Now moving on to spells. So our search card, very important, is 3 Melody of Awakening Dragon. Basically discard 1 card and then search your Blue Eye. So basically up to 2 dragons with 3000 attack and 25 defense. So, I mean, if you manage to break opening 2, obviously discard the 1 Melody, or as I said, discard the 1 White Stone of Legend, and then get 3 searches. So very important, Melody of Awakening Dragon. If you've managed to break, search the Blue Eye, search the alternative, and then go from there. Another draw power card is Trade In. So we are playing a lot of level 8s. We're playing the Dangers. You're playing all your Blue Eyes, your Spirit Dragon. So Trade In, such a good card. Not once per turn, remember that. So very important. It's just absolutely good. We need as much draw power as we can in Blue Eyes, which is why I'm also playing this next card, which is Pot of Desires. So basically, we've got Melody of Awakening Dragon, we've got Trade In, and we've got the Pot of Desires. So what you're going to want to do is activate your Trade In or your Melody before you activate Pot of Desires. Now, this past tournament, I really only activated Pot of Desires if I really, really, really needed to. But if I managed to draw something good or something good off Trade-In or Melody, then I went from there because, I mean, we run the risk of banishing our 3 Blue Eyes, which in a matchup, I activated Pot of Desires because I didn't have nothing, and I managed to banish 2 of my Blue Eyes, so, I mean, I had to play the duel with 1. I don't remember what round it was, but I don't know if I won or lost, but basically, Pot of Desires is an emergency card in case you really, really need something. For Reborn cards, we're playing the 2 Return of the Dragon Lords and the 1 Monster Reborn. Basically, Return of the Dragon Lords, bring back 1 level 7 or 8 dragon monster from your graveyard, and the second effect, which is super OP in Blue Eyes, is if your dragons are going to be destroyed, you can banish this card instead, and they get protected. So absolutely good. Try and get that engraved as soon as possible, and you can use it for Spirit Dragon, bring it back, and then banish a back row your opponent controls, and Monster Reborn is just a generic bring back. So from these cards, honestly, Monster Reborn, I didn't use it once. I mean, I drew it, I think, in like 1 duel, but my opponent really didn't have anything engraved because a lot of people are banishing. A lot of decks banish now, so they don't really keep any monsters engraved. So the second card I would definitely cut from this build is Monster Reborn. So I'll have to test even more to see what cards I add or what cards I'm cutting, but Nebula Dragon and Monster Reborn are definitely two cards I'm considering cutting. Other people might have different opinions, but I mean, that's just me. For trap cards, we're playing 3 Solemn Strike. Absolutely good card if you're going first or second. Obviously, with Blue Ice, you want to go second, but you can still set this card, and it's still really, really good. We're playing 2 Infinite Impermanence. I won't play 3 because I'm obviously playing the 2 Effect Veiler, and they're basically the same card. Obviously, Effect Veiler, it can be during your opponent's main phase, and it's quick effect. Obviously, Infinite Impermanence, you can drop it from your hand if you don't control cards, and it's getting a reprint in the Cyber Style structure deck, so make sure you definitely pick it up as soon as you can. So Infinite Impermanence, 2 Solemn Strike, and we are playing one last trap card in the deck, which was honestly absolutely OP, and it definitely caught everyone by surprise. And the duels I managed to win is because this card won me those matchups, and that is Skill Drain. So we can see why it's at 1. It's honestly absolutely good. Obviously, we're playing Linkuriboh in the extra deck, so Linkuriboh dodges the skill drain effect, so if they attack you, you can still trigger Linkuriboh because he triggers himself for cost. So Linkuriboh triggers and he activates Engrave. Skill drain negates monsters that are on the field, but their effects can still be activated, so you can still trigger Kuriboh and he activates Engrave. Now, if you don't believe me, there is a guy who is an official Konami judge at our locals, and he said that is correct. Kuriboh dodges skill drain, so definitely worth knowing if you didn't. So Skill Drain. Now, for the extra deck, I mean, this is where a lot of you are probably going to get like quite upset because the extra deck is quite an expensive extra deck. But as I said, I did try and add as much as I could to make it very competitive. So generic links, we're playing, as I mentioned, the 1 Linkuriboh. I would consider maybe bumping it up to 2, but obviously you can link him off, and then when he's engraved, you can tribute a level 1 monster and bring him back. But I mean, there was situations where I'm like, I need a second Linkuriboh, and I just couldn't link into him, or my opponent had banished it and stuff like that. So definitely consider bumping it up to 2. The second generic link we're playing is the Blackluster Soldier of Chaos. Now, this isn't really needed. You don't need it. I didn't go into it once, but I mean, if you obviously link summon him with, I believe, level 7 or level 8, he gets like a protection effect. So in Blue Eyes, that's really good. But I honestly didn't see him once. There wasn't a situation where I was like, oh, I really need to go into him to win this matchup. So you don't really need him. He's there. As I said, this is the build I tested, my first test build to locals. So I'll definitely be changing it up a bit. Obviously, you guessed it, I mentioned it, we are playing the Access Code package. Now, if you don't have Access Code Talker, because it's a massive money card at the moment, I mean, just play other links, play other extra deck monsters. I'll try and suggest some at the end of the video or next video, or message me on Instagram even. But I mean, Borlo Dragon's always there, Boral Sword Dragon is still always there, so there is options, but I mean, you can't beat the Access Code package, honestly. Didn't go into it once either. I just had enough on board, honestly, to just OTK. We're playing quite a heavy XYZ package, which is obviously the Dragoobleon package. Dragoobleon, Numeron Dragon, and Hope Harbinger. So I believe the money card at the moment is just Dragoobleon. He has an Ultra and a Rare printing from Maximum Gold. And Hope Harbinger, obviously, he's got, I think, 3-4 reprints. So this is very worth playing. Obviously, it did come up in a matchup where I used Numeron to OTK, so really good. Remember, Dragoobleon cannot be targeted by effects, so a lot of people tried effect veilering this or imperm, but I mean, it does target, and Dragoobleon cannot be targeted. So the monster they want to hit is number 100 because he's got no protection. And speaking of Hope Harbinger, I am playing the second Hope Harbinger. in case I was made to go first, obviously have that spell negation on board. But honestly, there wasn't a situation where I needed to do that, so Hope Harbinger will come out of the extra deck. Obviously, just the one copy, and I'm leaving one in for the Dragooblion package. So the rest of the XYZ packages or monsters, we're playing the one Photon Lord. Really good card as it negates a monster effect. If you're going to overextend, or if you've got like a hand to go full combo and spam the board, you're definitely going to want to have Photon Lord on board, as he is your Nibiru negate. Bring him out, spam, they chain Nibiru, chain your Galaxy Photon, and he negates it. We're playing the one Dingirsu. I always say it, possibly one of the best XYZ monsters to ever be created in the game. Basically, send something your opponent controls to the graveyard, and it's got that protection effect. And the third card, obviously, it has to be the AA Zeus, because we are playing quite a big XYZ package. For example, if you didn't manage to OTK with Numeron, you can then go into Zeus, because obviously he'll be at 0 the next turn. Zeus is getting a reprint in the Megaton, so make sure you definitely pick that up. I mean, it's no point worth thinking of like, is it going to be banned, is it not? Just buy it and play it. But that is it for the XYZs. We're playing, the last three monsters are Synchros, so you already guessed it. I mean, it's the Azure Eyes, didn't go into him once, so I'm thinking I might cut him if I find a good replacement, but I mean, he's just good to have there just in case we need him. But didn't go into him once. There wasn't a situation where I was like, I really, really need to go into him. So, I don't know. The next one was absolutely OP. Definitely won me some matchups. Definitely won me the matchup against Prankit's Adamantipator. And that is Blue Eyes Spirit of... Oh, sorry. Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. I get the names confused. So yeah, Spirit Dragon, basically you and your opponent cannot summon 2 or more monsters, which is basically like a summon limit in a dragon. Obviously you want to play it in defense because it's got that 3k defense, but it's just really good. Your opponent either has to be over it or negate the effect so they can spam their board. As I said, won me the matchup against Prank Kids. Basically I just went Spirit Dragon, I had a Link Karibo on board. And then I had like the Ash Blossom, I had the Ghost Spell, the Effect Veiler in hand. So it was just like I had full control of that match, and I won it 2-0. It was just really, really good. But that is it for the extra deck. Now I'm gonna show you the side deck. I kept changing this up quite a lot. I didn't know what to like side, to be honest. I kept asking hardcore cards like what to side in, what to side out. I did make some last changes before the tournament started, and there is some changes I will definitely make based on what people played, based on what I think people will play at my next locals. But this is what I took for that weekend, which is the 2 Nibiru. I'm definitely going to side a third. The 3 Artifact Lancia, it didn't really come up. I mean, with Blue Eyes, you don't really banish, so in case your opponent tries to banish some of your cards, or they try and banish, I don't know, to like go into their place, for example, Tri Brigade. So, I mean, it's definitely staying in the side deck for a bit. Obviously, we've got the Tri Brigade matchup, or, I mean, I don't know if they're playing like, obviously, Cross Out Designator. I don't know if Lancia will be able to negate that, but we'll see. It's staying in the side deck for a while. So the next card is the 3 Dark Ruler No More. Such a good card to like beat over cards that can be targeted by effects or cards that you have trouble dealing with. Obviously we're playing Blue Eyes and we can easily be disrupted. So if they've got like a bunch of negates on board, Dark Ruler No More is the way to go. For back row hate, we had to play some. So obviously the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, the 2 Cosmic Cyclone. I don't know how I feel about Lightning Storms. I mean, when I get a playset, I'll probably side in like 1 or 2. But I always get like funny about that. No control, no face-up cards to activate it. So I just try and like play the easiest cards I can. So Harpy's Feather Duster and 2 Cosmic Cyclone. The last 2 cards are trap cards, and it's obviously the 2 Solemn Judgment and the 2 Summon Limit. So if we are made to go first, obviously you want to side in the Solemn Judgment. You've got Solemn Strikes, you've got Imperms, and you'll probably want to go Summon Limit. I did side this in a lot, didn't see it once. But I think if I'd drawn it, it would have been such a good card. So I won't bump it up to 2. Sorry, I won't bump it up to 3 because I just think it'll get too bricky. Obviously, I cited in the Solemn Judgment and the Summon Limit when I was made to go first, but I think out of the whole day I was made to go first once or twice, and it still managed to go really well. Another card I did consider citing in was the Gozen match, but obviously the extra deck doesn't stick to just one attribute. The access code package, obviously, what's his name? Hauki is a water type. Access code is a dark. Celine is a light monster. So if I was locked into my own Gozen match, I would have a really hard time. But I don't know. If I make it more of like a pure light build, then I might try it out. I might just try it out in general just to see how it works. But that's one card I'm considering. I'm obviously considering Forbidden Droplet as well as getting a reprint in December, but I can still manage to get a playset from someone. I'll test it out. I'll see how it is. But that is it for the deck, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely stay tuned for episode 2. We don't know when that will be, as our locals is every 2 weeks, and we do also want to play some meta decks to try and top and get those lovely OTS packs to try and pull that Forbidden Droplet or that Cyber Dragon. Yeah, let us know in the comment section what you want to see next, or what you want us to do at locals. What do you want us to show from our locals? What do you want us to showcase? Or if you have any questions or suggestions about this deck, do let me know, as I am trying to top locals with Blue Eyes White Dragon. So until next time, guys, I appreciate it very much. Thank you for all the support. Make sure you like and subscribe. Kyberlord out.